we're going to go ahead and use the information I have the screen right now. I'm going to go ahead and put this in top view. Go ahead and adjust that a little bit. Right here I'm going to go ahead and use standard engraving for here. By standard engraving I'm going to use a contour option. So I'm going to use the option for toolpath, contour. This is sample engraving, that's fine. Using my chaining option, I'm actually going to use the option for window. So I'm going to put a window around where it says Mastercam. Now it's asking me for a sketch approximate start point. So what it's going to do is it's going to look for the information inside the window area by a sketch point. So I'm just going to come over here anywhere on the screen, click on the lower left hand side. You see it automatically highlights the information and grabs the chains of 23, it looks like 28 first, 23 chains. Go ahead and apply that. Looking for a tool. In this case, I'll go ahead and use, I can go ahead and use a, say none, and I'll go ahead and use a spot drill. We'll say ignore, see what we have in our list. I'm going to use a 125. Okay, I'm not worrying about the feeds and speeds at this time. Rapids, everything's good. Go over to contour parameters. I'm going to look for, say, minus 0.005. Maybe multiple passes if I wanted. So I could say 0.002, 2 thousandths pass per cut. I'm going to turn off the lead in and lead out because I don't want the tool to actually create like a lead in and lead out, making it look like calligraphy. But what I do want is I want the tool to go right down the center of these letters. You can see we have stick letters. I'd like that tool to go right down the center there. So to be able to do that easily, I'm just going to go over to here where it says computer, control, where, reverse, where, and off. I'm going to use the option for off. This will drive the tool right down the center of the letters. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. As you can see, it actually drove the tool path. The tool itself, let's go ahead and turn this off so you can see right here, right down the center. Multiple passes covering each letter. Okay. Alt-T shuts off my tool path for me. Put it back in top view. I'm going to go through over now and I'm going to actually use CAD CAM was here and do a pocket thought so that I actually can have letters engraved down into it. Where you could do the reverse thought is actually having raised letters by using these as your islands and using the outside profile to actually leave your letter standing. So I'm going to go ahead and tool path, pocket. I'm going to try the area again, the window option again. Selecting everything here. Using a sketch point, can be anywhere I want. Find the geometry. In this case, maybe I might want to use that same tool, or for example, let's go ahead and use a 1/16 end mill. So 1/16. I'm going to use a flat end mill. Find that flat end mill. Not worrying about feeds and speeds this particular time. Second parameters. I'm going to go ahead and say minus 0.010, maybe 10,000 steep. Going over to my secondary area, rough passes. I could do depth cuts if I want. In this case, I'm just going to go over roughing. And I'll go ahead and say 40% of my tool. Inside out, it's fine with me at this particular time. Let's go ahead and see back here again. See, did it actually cut inside that area for me? Okay, so just using a standard pocket. So if I actually set this and go ahead and put this in like an isometric view, select both of these right now. Let's go ahead and verify that our stock is set up. Looks like we do have our stock set up. We're okay. We'll go ahead and do a little bit of verify real quick. Move this over. Around a little bit. Maybe we might want to see where the information is going, so I can turn on my verbose mode and I'll go ahead and hit play. As you can see, we have right down the center with the tool, and then we also have the option of pocket. Using the pocket, it creates nice little letters too. Of course, it's going to use the tool radius to leave corners on that. Alright, I'm going to put this back in top view again, and I'm going to use toolpath and use the optional engraving package. Okay, so hitting engraving. I'm going to do the same thoughts I've done in the past. I'm going to use the window. I could chain if I wanted to individually chain each one, but in this case you can see how much easier it is to go ahead and actually put a window around this. So putting the window, once again, hey, I'll sketch point from the right this time. Looking at what my note says here. Sketch point for everything that's inside that window. Go ahead and do that. Apply that. And this time I'm actually going to go to a tool library, filter it out, say none, and I'm going to use a chamfer mill. Say OK. I'm going to use, in this case, a 3/16 tool. Chamfer mill. It looks for the angle. Already knows what the angle and everything is. Not worrying about feeds and speeds. Parameters. I'm going to say 1 inch above. And we can go ahead and say, hey, minus 50 thousandths for this particular time. And coming over to the other options, roughing, finishing. Do I want to do some roughing passes? I wanted to rough out some of the detail if they were wide enough letters. In this case, I could go ahead and use that option. Say parallel, for example. How much of the step over the percentage of the tool? I've got a small tip on it, so I'm going to say 30%. Get a little detail in there. On that, I can have it actually ramp into the material or plunge, smoothing as it's going through the particular pocket areas, as it also roughs. Now we have an option to cut the geometry. As you can see, it's showing a letter here to the top being at crisp or the bottom being crisp. In this case, I want to go with the top. What I want it to be able to do is I want the tool to go in there and actually clear out the bottom area, but when it sees the sharp corners, I want it to actually lift up into the corners and actually create almost a sharp corner. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and say OK. Generate a path. And I'm going to zoom up on this path here, and you'll be able to see where the tool has actually done that. Is he's come up into the corner area here. So if I back plot that, let's turn off that path right there. See where our tool is. Zoom in a little bit right here. I'll use the S on my keyboard. You see it's inside the cut. It's moving around a little bit. It's going to go through and do some roughing passes real quick. Let's get it to go down. Now you can actually see. So it went up into the corner. It's going to move along this here. It's going to come right up into that corner. It's going to automatically lift up into the corner, creating a much sharper detail in the corner area. So you can see. I'll go ahead. Well, let's select all of them. Alt-T turns off all my tool paths. Everything's selected. I'm going to use the verify. Zoom in a little bit over here. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way. And we'll let it play through. Tell it to stop on tool change. Going through each tool. And I'm going to go ahead and slow the next tool down. Zoom in a little bit right there. It's going to do a little bit of the roughing detail, but it can with that particular tool. Just taking out where the larger areas it could, and then it'll come back. If we had a more defined, smaller tool, we'd probably get more definition, step overs, and information like that. Go ahead and bring this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and speed that up. So you can see that it actually moves the tool along the tip and actually brings it up into the corners. Makes for a nice option. A lot of time used in mold making and things like that. But you can see you don't have to have the fancy engraving package to be able to do engraving. You can do standard contour, standard pocketing. If you do the reverse thought here when it came to this actual letters here, on the top where I did a pocket, basically picking an outside boundary being the stock and picking the letters and using them as an island, you can actually leave raised letters. Well, this is it for the engraving samples that I have for you now. I hope this helps. and I hope you enjoyed my time. Thank you.